Hi guys, I'm excited to present to you MaxES, which is the only software that simplifies strategy modeling and node locking. It allows you to create a desired strategy for your opponent on the turn on multiple nodes at the same time. The software works in conjunction with PioSolver and an Edge subscription is required. Before diving into the program, I want to briefly talk about why we created this software and why it's important. It all started with the realization that the strategy output from the solvers are loss minimization strategies. The reason why the resulting strategies are that way is that the solver engine is a perfect exploitative machine with perfect information over its opponent's strategy. This means that it will maximally exploit any weakness that it can find, thus forcing the opponent to play an unexploitable strategy. In reality, no one plays the same strategy as a solver, nor do they perfectly know your strategy at every point in the game tree. And finally, even if they had all of this information, they wouldn't know how to maximally exploit those weaknesses because there's no tool on the market that can help with that until now. Copying the resulting strategies from the solver is a complete waste of time if your goal is to make as much profit as possible when playing poker. These strategies only make money when the opponent makes a pure EV mistake. Frequency mistakes do not get punished by GTO strategies, and that is where most of the profit lies against both regulars and recreational players. While the solvers allow you to do some exploitative strategy creation via node locking, they only allow you to node lock a single node at a time. That makes it, realistically speaking, impossible to model the strategy of the out of position player, as an example, on all the turn cards. To achieve the desired frequencies, you would have to track at least 5 different ranges at the same time for each of the turn cards that will come. I'm talking about the betting, checking, check raising, check calling, and check folding ranges. That's a lot of ranges. With MaxES, you can do all of this easily while achieving the desired deviations from the GTO strategy. But now, enough talking about theoretical things. Let's get down to business. How does the program actually work? So, the first thing you need to do is to create a simulation for the situation that you want to study, which I have created here. Then you have to save it in a very small save. Then you go to the website, create new sim file. You add the file. You name the profile that you want to model, let's say a whale, an average whale, let's say. And then you name the spot that you're studying. So in this case, it was a big blind versus button single raise pot situation. You click OK. Then you get here to the node hub. Now you need to add nodes that you are working on. You click add new nodes, and then you get the nodes from the sim that you made. Let's say we want to model a probe situation, which is a node that recreational players frequently misplay by quite a wide margin. I'm going to copy the betting nodes for the out of position player and for the in position player, so the delayed c-bet line. Pasting it here. Then I have to modify this, the turn card, to our templated runout. And then we click here, and we have simplified the 52 turn cards, rather the 49 turn cards that can come, to 5 or 6 runout types, depending on the board. In this specific case, we have ace, 7, deuce, rainbow. So we have a blank low undercard, which are the turn 6, 8, and 9. Blank high undercard, 10, jack, queen, and king. We have the low card pair, so the deuce, middle card pair, the 7, top card pair, the ace, and then we have the 3 to a straight, which is the 3, the 4, and the 5 runouts. Other boards have different runouts, and they're all covered by our templates. So let's say we just select a blank low undercard. We click OK. Now our algorithm is extracting the range compositions from the sim that you uploaded. And once that is done, we are prompted to this page where we are presented with the range composition on the right side for each hand category. We have 2 ways of visualizing the data. We have the, let's say, hand to note type of way, which is a range composition way of seeing the ranges. So in this case, for example, the bet, which is a probe bet in this case. So the bet contains, the betting range contains 34% two pair plus, 5.4% top pairs, 0.2% third pair, 0.2% low pair, etc. Same for the check raise and check call ranges. And then the second way of viewing this, which is in the last three columns here, is an action split for each category. So for example, on these runouts, on these blank low undercard runouts, on average, the two pair plus are probing 70% of the time. And when they check, they are check raising 86.7% of the time and check calling 13.3. So there's this other way of viewing things, the range compositions. Here on the left side, we have the overall action frequencies. So we see, for example, out of position bet frequency, 14%. So this is the probe bet frequency. We have the check raise frequency, we have the check call frequency, and the check fold frequency. We would first start off by editing these action frequencies by clicking here, and we can change these numbers. Now, you could either do this manually by, let's say you want to model a specific player that you have in mind, or you can use data from hand to note by using pop-ups and having a big database of hands. I have, for example, here a smaller database of hands, but this is for whales. And if we look here, this is the probe line. Since I don't have a big sample of hands, I cannot use specific board texture data, but I can look at the general trend. So, for example, the average probe bet frequency should be 38, and they are probing 47%. So we can say here that they are over probing, right? So we can say instead of 14, which is the GTO number, we can say that they are doing it 19% of the time. This player profile. Then we can look at their check fold, for example. We see that the average GTO number is 54. They do it 50. They check fold 57, so slightly more. So we can say here, for example, 59. And then we can look at their check raise frequency. So check raise. We can see here that they are under check raising by a lot. So the average in GTO is 8%, and they're doing it 2.5%. So that means we can change 4 here to 1, let's say. And then we just calculate the difference. So it's 60. So then they would check call slightly more than average. And then we would click save here. Again, if you have more data, then you can use textural data. So you could use like an ace high rainbow flop and see how often they probe versus the GTO input. Then going back here, now we can look. Now we can change the range composition. We click actions, edit node lock composition, and we are prompted to this screen. Here we see the same table as before. You can click on any of these hand categories anywhere on the table, and you can either change this data in a hand to node type of style. So you can use data from hand to node. For example, we can look at the probe line and say, okay, they are betting this amount of two pair plus, this amount of top pairs, this amount of middle pairs, etc. Again, more data, more accurate information. Or you can, if you want to model sort of like mock node locking, you can just simply change the betting frequency. For example, you want to say, okay, I think this type of opponent will always probe bet with two pairs, or they under probe bet compared to GTO. So you could say that they bet 50% of the time or 95% of the time, etc. And all of these numbers are recalculated. So let's say if we say, okay, I think the average recreational player fast plays too much because we saw the check raising frequency being too small. So then we would just say, okay, I think 98% of the time they will just probe their two pair plus. So we would change that. And now we would just go back here and do that for all the hand classes that we want. We can easily model deviations such as over bluffing, under bluffing, over merging, um, betting too often but under bluffing, um, betting too infrequently but over bluffing. All kinds of deviations can be modeled very easily using this tool. So once we are done with that, we would just go back. We would click on actions, advanced, and then we would clone. And now we could go edit, and we work on the next runout type. For example, blank high undercard, then the ranges will be extracted and the process repeats itself. It only takes 5 or 6 times to do this, to model all the turns with all the desired frequencies and range compositions. That's all it takes to precisely model any player type across all the turns. After no-docking all the deviations and you let the solver run, you'll be guaranteed to have a flop and turn strategy that is superior to both GTO or any other program that you can find on the market. And to make things even more exciting, we are working towards enabling the same mass no-docking capabilities for the river. We are very excited about the future, and if you want to be in the loop with our latest developments, or you wish to lock in one of our few free trial spots, you can message us on Facebook or Instagram at Pinnacle Poker, and you will get a link to our Discord channel. See you on the other side.